Welcome to the Royal Road School of Carmelite Prayer, where at the present time we are looking at the spiritual testimonies of Teresa of Avila. They are considered to be an X-ray of her soul and a beautiful complement to the book of her life, her autobiography that she herself wrote. So today we are continuing on with spiritual testimony number 58, and it basically has to do with Teresa's ongoing concerns about whether her experiences were from heaven. So Teresa had given an account to so many because of her great fear. Many of her experiences were told around, which was a real torment and a cross for Teresa. This suffering was not caused by humility, but it was caused by fear that these experiences that she was having would be attributed to a woman's fancy. She went to the extreme of not being judged by anyone she thought believed everything was from God. She feared the devil would deceive them both. She was much grieved, though, dealing with those who despised her experiences. She did not want them to condemn her experiences because they saw no reason for them, but nor did she want them to act as if all were from God. So, in other words, she could never have complete assurance. She did try as hard as she could not to offend God, and she always strove to obey. By these two methods, she thought she could free herself even if her experiences were from the devil. From time to time, Teresa began to receive supernatural experiences. Her spirit was always inclined to seek what was most perfect. It almost always had a desire for suffering. In persecutions, of which Teresa had many, she found consolation and a special love for her persecutors. There was also a great desire for poverty and a great desire for solitude, and to leave this earthly exile in order to see God. But of these effects, she did grow very calm. Though fear did not leave her, but never did her spirit persuade her to hide anything. She always strove to obey. She never saw anything with her bodily eyes. What she saw was so delicate and intellectual. At times, Teresa thought she had imagined it. Nor did she ever hear with her bodily ears, except for 2 times. These experiences only came when there was a need, as once when she endured torments and fear about whether the devil was deceiving her, and when her sins and other experiences were being made public. While in this state of affliction, Teresa heard the words within herself, "It is I, do not be afraid." Her soul was left quiet, courageous, and confident. She could not understand where this blessing had come from. At other times, she was strengthened by a vision. Without this strength, she would not have been able to suffer such great trials, such great contradictions, and her sicknesses. She was never without some kind of suffering. If she thinks of a service she had rendered the Lord or of a favor he had granted her, she would begin to think of her sins, which tormented her like a foul-smelling mud. She was not tempted to vainglory. She was never persuaded concerning any spiritual experience unless it was clean and chaste. Above all, there was a fear of offending God and the desire to do his will always. So determined was she to do God's will that nothing her confessors or superiors might tell her of what they think would be of service to God, that she would fail to carry out, knowing that the Lord helps those resolved to render him service and glory. Amen. So it's hard to imagine what it was like to be Teresa of Avila and to live the different experiences that she had. There's some place in her writings where she talked about how lonely she felt not being able to share these experiences with another. So these will be continued. We've almost finished the spiritual testimony number 58. And until we meet again, amen.